Hello, everyone, and welcome back to English Podcast Journey. I'm Emma, and I'm so happy to have you here today. In this episode, we're going to talk about something that can completely change the way you learn English. It's the skill of thinking in English instead of translating everything from your own language. Now, I know for many learners, this is a huge challenge. You probably find yourself saying something like, "First, I think in my native language, then I translate it into English, then I speak." And by the time you finish, the moment has already passed. That habit slows you down, makes you nervous, and sometimes even causes mistakes because direct translation doesn't always work. But imagine this. What if you could think directly in English? No middle step, no translation, no delay. The words just come to your mind naturally and flow out of your mouth. That's what fluent speakers do, and that's what we're going to train together today. In this episode, I'll give you practical methods, small exercises, and real-life examples that you can start using right away. We'll talk about how to start with simple words, how to connect them into natural sentences, and how to train your brain to make English your default mode of thinking. I'll also share some common mistakes learners make when trying to switch their thinking and show you how to avoid them. This is one of those episodes you definitely want to listen to until the very end, because each step builds on the last. And I promise, if you practice what I share today, you'll start noticing a difference in just a few weeks. So grab your notebook if you like to take notes, or just sit back and listen closely. We're about to unlock one of the biggest secrets to fluency, training your brain to think in English. The very first step to train your brain to think in English is to start with single words, not full sentences. Many learners put pressure on themselves to create perfect long sentences from the very beginning. But the truth is, your brain needs to get comfortable with words first before it can build sentences naturally. For example, let's imagine you're sitting in your room right now. Look around you and name things in English. You see a chair, you say chair. You see a table, you say table. You see a book, you say book. Don't worry about making a complete sentence like "the book is on the table" at first. Just focus on training your mind to recognize objects around you directly in English. This step might sound simple, but it's actually very powerful. When you do this daily, your brain starts creating a direct link between the object and the English word. There's no space for translation in between. For instance, instead of thinking libro in Spanish and then translating to book, your brain goes straight to book, and that's the goal. You can also practice this with feelings. If you're happy, just think the word happy. If you're tired, think tired. If you're hungry, think hungry. Again, it doesn't have to be a long sentence. The important thing is that your brain connects your feeling directly with the English word. To make this exercise even stronger, try setting a timer on your phone for 5 minutes every day. During those 5 minutes, challenge yourself to only name things in English. If you're walking outside, name what you see: car, tree, sky, dog, people. If you're at home, it could be cup, spoon, mirror, window, light. You'll be surprised how quickly your vocabulary starts to feel natural. And don't worry if you don't know the word for something. That's normal. Just skip it and keep going. Later, you can look it up and add it to your practice. What matters is that you build the habit of thinking in English without needing to translate. This may look like a small step, but it's actually the foundation of the whole process. If you train your brain to label words directly in English, you'll be ready to build sentences much faster and with less effort. Once you feel comfortable naming single words in English, the next step is to connect those words into short phrases. This is where your thinking in English really starts to grow. Short phrases are easier than full sentences, but they still give your brain the chance to practice flow and connection. For example, instead of just saying book, Now you can say a big book. Instead of chair, you can say a red chair. Instead of happy, you can say very happy. These little additions help you move one step closer to real communication because in everyday life, people rarely use single words alone. We usually combine them. Here's a small practice exercise you can try. Look around your room again and describe things with 2 or 3 words. For example, a white wall, a wooden table, a small lamp. If you're outside, you might say a fast car, a tall building, a blue sky. This is how you slowly stretch your English without overwhelming yourself. And remember, don't worry about grammar at this stage. You don't need to think, is it correct to say this? Just focus on getting your brain to naturally connect English words together. The grammar can come later. For now, your main job is to make English a natural part of your thought process. Another great idea is to practice with feelings or daily activities. Instead of only saying hungry, you can say very hungry. Instead of just sleepy, you can say a little sleepy. Or if you want to describe actions, you could try drink water, open door, or watch TV. Simple phrases like these are enough to train your brain to stop translating and start thinking. Here's a tip to make it fun. Take 5 words you already know and see how many short phrases you can create with them. For example, if your words are book, coffee, phone, tired, and cat, you could say a new book, hot coffee, my phone, so tired, cute cat. It's a small game, but it helps you build fluency step by step. This stage is all about confidence. Don't wait for perfect grammar or long sentences. Focus on creating short phrases in English quickly and naturally. Once you can do that, building full sentences will feel much easier. All right, let's keep going. Another great way to improve your English is through writing practice. A lot of learners focus only on speaking and listening, but writing forces you to slow down and really think about grammar, word choice, and sentence structure. You don't have to write a full essay every day. Even something simple like journaling in English for 10 minutes can help. For example, you could write about your day, your plans for tomorrow, or even how you feel right now. Over time, you'll notice that your sentences become smoother and your vocabulary expands naturally. One little trick I always recommend is to write an English diary and then read it aloud. This way, you're combining writing, reading, and speaking all in one exercise. It also helps you notice mistakes because when you hear your own words, you can catch things that don't sound right. Now let's talk about building your vocabulary in a practical way. Many learners try to memorize long word lists, but the problem is you forget them quickly. A better way is to learn words in context. For instance, if you learn the word delicious, try using it in different sentences, like this cake is delicious, or that was a delicious meal. You can even practice by describing things around you in English. Instead of saying good, try words like amazing, wonderful, or fantastic. This kind of active practice makes the words stick in your memory. Another point I want to emphasize is listening daily. Listening is like fuel for your brain when learning English. You can listen to podcasts, songs, or even short news clips. But the key is to listen with attention. Don't just play something in the background. Really focus on the sounds, the rhythm, and the words. A fun idea is to shadow what you hear, which means repeating exactly what the speaker says, almost like an echo. It feels strange at first, but it's one of the fastest ways to improve pronunciation and fluency. Before we continue, let me remind you, if you're enjoying this episode and finding it helpful, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. It really supports my work and helps me create more useful content for you. Now, another useful method is thinking in English. This might sound a little difficult at first, but it's powerful. Instead of translating from your native language to English, try to form thoughts directly in English. For example, if you're about to make coffee, think, I am making coffee, or I need to boil water. These small moments add up and train your brain to use English naturally. Another very effective strategy is reading in English every single day. Now, you don't have to start with big novels or complicated books. Even short stories, news articles, or online blogs can make a big difference. The goal here is to expose yourself to natural English, the kind that people actually use. When you read, don't worry if you don't understand every single word. Focus on the overall meaning first. Later, you can look up new words and note them down in a small vocabulary notebook. Over time, this becomes your personal English dictionary. Also, don't just read passively. Try to engage with the text. For example, after reading a paragraph, pause and summarize it in your own words. This simple practice trains your brain to process and produce English at the same time, which is exactly what you need in real conversations. Another tip is to use technology wisely. Today, there are so many free apps, online platforms, and even YouTube channels that can help you practice English daily. You can set reminders, track your progress, and even practice with AI chat tools or language exchange partners. But remember, consistency is more important than the tool you use. Even if you only practice for 15 minutes a day, doing it every day will make a bigger difference than practicing for 2 hours once a week. Now, let's touch on pronunciation. Many learners feel shy about speaking because they think their accent is not good enough. But here's the truth. Accents are natural, and almost everyone has one. What matters more is clarity. You want people to understand you easily. To improve, focus on stress and intonation. English has a rhythm, and practicing that rhythm can make your speech sound much more natural. You can use tongue twisters, repeat after native speakers, or even record yourself speaking and listen back to catch areas for improvement. And here's something important. Don't be afraid of making mistakes. Many learners hold themselves back because they want to be perfect. But mistakes are part of the learning process. In fact, the more mistakes you make, the faster you'll improve because every mistake teaches you something new. Think of mistakes as stepping stones to fluency. Finally, create an English environment around yourself. Label things in your house in English, set your phone and social media to English, or even try to talk to yourself in English while doing daily tasks. The more you surround yourself with the language, the more natural it becomes. So, to wrap everything up, remember that learning English isn't about doing everything perfectly from day one. It's about showing up every day, practicing a little, and slowly building confidence. Read daily, practice speaking, don't be afraid of mistakes, and surround yourself with English as much as possible. Over time, you'll notice how much easier it feels to express yourself. Thank you so much for listening today. If you found these tips helpful, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe so you never miss an episode. And I'd love to hear from you. What's your favorite way to practice English every day? Drop a comment below and share your thoughts.